All right, all right. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm Teacher Nivs. This is Dr. Joe's reading and writing class. Today's September 11th, 2025. September 11th. If you can hear me clearly, can I get a 72 in the chat? If you can hear me clearly, can I get a 72 in the chat? All right, nice, Derek. Anybody else? Okay, Austin. Um, I don't think I've met you before. I've been on, we could say vacation, for about a month now. So there's been a few weeks that I've missed. Hopefully those few weeks went by okay. Okay. 72 to woo 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 and 70 another message too. Nice. Clever. Clever. You guys are getting more creative with these. Okay, let's get started with the book of the day. The darkest part of the forest. I figure we start with some fantasy. Now, I have not read this book myself, but it's been highly recommended to me. So I'm going to recommend it to you. Okay. Let's get Austin. Austin, can you read this?
The darkest part of the forest, holly black. Children can have a cruel, absolute sense of justice. Children can kill a monster and feel quite proud of themselves. A girl can look at her brother and believe they're destined to be a knight and a bard who battle evil. She can believe she's found the thing she's been made for. Hazel lives with her brother Ben in the strange town of Fairfold, where humans and fae exist side by side. The fairies' seemingly harmless magic attracts tourists, but Hazel knows how dangerous they can be, and she knows how to stop them, or she did once. At the center of it all, there's a glass coffin in the woods. It rests right on the ground, and in it sleeps a boy with horns on his head and ears as pointed as knives. Hazel and Ben were both in love with him as children. The boy has slept there for generations, never waking, until one day he does. As the world turns upside down, Hazel tries to remember her years, pretending to be light, but swept up in new love, shifting loyalties, and the fresh sting of betrayal. Will it be enough?
Awesome. Okay, thank you for reading that, Austin. Um, Okay, so it's just a sort of a fantasy novel, which I feel like there hasn't been too many of recently. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, let's go to the mini bio of the author. Let's get Derek. Derek, can you read this one?
Holly Black is the number one New York Times bestselling author of fantasy novels, including the novels of Elle Fame, The Coldest Girl in Coldtown, The Spiderwick Chronicles, and her adult debut, Book of Night. She has been a finalist for an Eisner Award and the Lodestar Award, and the recip recipient of the Mythopoeic Award, a Nebula, and a Newbery Award. Honor. Her books have been translated into 32 languages worldwide and adapted for film and television. She currently lives in New England with her husband and son in a house with a secret library.
Awesome. Thank you for reading that. Secret Library sounds very cool. Um, if I do say so myself. Okay, so I could not find a quote of hers that was, I guess, interesting enough, I think, for this activity. So I found another one. Um, it is never too late to be what you might have been. George Eliot. So it's relatively straightforward, but I want you guys to think about what does that quote mean, give an example, and sort of when is this quote like relevant? When is it important to know, etc. Okay, I'm starting the timer. Yeah, we have only 5 students, so I can do 5 minutes. Starting the timer now. Yes, you guys can use the restroom. You don't have to ask, just maybe put something in the chat like BRB, and then you can go. All right, all right. Time is up. Let's see what we came up with. Oh man, I wish who was it? Was it Jeffrey who used to be very political um in this class? He used to always talk about Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I don't know, he's like a YouTuber or something. He re he was murdered. So that was crazy. This today. Oh, also, Austin, you don't have to private chat it. You could just public chat it, main chat it, because essentially I'm just gonna copy and paste it here, so everyone's gonna see it anyways. All right, Russell, let's start us off.
I think the quote is suggesting that your past choices, mistakes, or missed opportunities don't permanently lock you into one version of yourself, and you can still pursue the version of yourself that you aspire the most. It acknowledges that past actions that you regret are normal but not definitive. In conclusion, the sentence reminds you that possibility exists in the present and change can still be made.
Awesome. Very good. Very good response. I like the structure of the intro firstly. I think the quote's suggesting great. I don't permanently lock into one version, and you can still pursue the version that you aspire the most. Can you say that you aspire? Or do you have to say aspire to? That would be a no, you could use it this way. Okay, anyways. It acknowledges that the past actions. Great, good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Also, this was so good. I just want to remind everyone, like, um, don't use. I had another class where students were using AI to edit their work before they submit, and there's no point. Again, I'm not grading you guys. Just a reminder. The whole point is here to make the mistakes, and then we discuss and make it better. Anyways, great job, Russell. Okay, awesome. Would you like to read yours?
Okay, the quote is never too late to be what you might have been, suggests that no matter your age or circumstances, you can still pursue your dreams and goals. It encourages people to believe that they have the power to change their lives and become the person they aspire to be. This means that if you have a passion or a talent you haven't explored yet, it's not too late to start. Whether you want to go back to school, change careers, or pick up a new hobby, the opportunity is always there.
Okay. The quote only thing here is it is never too late to be what you might have been, comma. Suggest that no matter your age or circumstances, you could still pursue your dreams or goals. Um, it encourages people to believe that they have the power to change their lives. Okay, this means that if you awesome, awesome, great. This is true. This is really true. Um, it's true no matter what age you are. I know people who were in maybe around your age. I'm not sure how old everyone is, but like, 13, 14, when they're like, oh yeah, like I'm too old to, start playing football or soccer. You may be too old to to become a pro, but you can still play. At every age you feel like you're old, but you're not really old. Um, so keep that in mind. Okay, Ethan, would you like to read yours?
This quote by George Eliot, this quote represents that no matter what, no matter when it is never too late to become what you always dreamt of being, and no one will stop you, and never give up when faced with an obstacle, and never stop chasing your dream.
Scores then no matter when it is. Okay. This quote by George Eliot. Let's get rid of that. represents. I'm going to switch this with says. I'm not too sure we can say represents, but we can say says. It's just a little easier. That no matter when it is, comma, it is never too late to become what you have, what you've always dreamt of being. And that. So this could be one sentence, right? Comma, or no, not comma. And that no one will stop you and never give up. No one will stop you. I would say this is a logical sentence break here. You should never give up when faced with an obstacle and never stop chasing your dream. You should never give up. I guess, yeah, these are two separate points. This would just be and never stop chasing your dream. Okay. Yeah, so a response like this, first, I guess I know it's really hard when you guys are having to type really quickly and you just want to type before you sort of structure it. But I guess the best way to structure would be, first, like you did here, is like, or I guess you went straight to the explanation. But first, what does this quote even mean, right? You could say it's pretty straightforward. The quote means it's never too late to do something, to do anything that you wanted to do. And then from there, it's like, this is important because people always think it's too late, but you should never stop, etc. Right? So you go on from there, but sort of structure the points so they're different, right? And be careful when using ands. Like, do you need to use an and? Can this be a whole separate point? If you're using too many ands, like maybe can you reconsider the structure of it? But I understand that in a Zoom chat, it's very hard to do all these things. So just keep that in mind. Okay, James, would you like to read yours?
I think that this quote means that you should never give up on your dreams. Even if you think that it's too late to become something you want to be, you should never give up. Sometimes everything could change in your favor. For example, I was playing Grow Garden on Roblox and I was trying to get the Kitsune. Although the odds of getting one was 0.08% chance, um, I kept on trying. However, I kept on trying and in the end I was able to get the pet.
Awesome. Okay. This could mean even if you think that it's too late to be something you want to be, you should never give up. Okay, so this would be a full separate point, right? Then sometimes everything could change in your favor. For example, playing grow a garden on Roblox. I'm not sure what this is, but maybe it should be uh within quotes. On Roblox, and this should probably be uppercase unless this is meant to be lowercase. So we'll leave it like that. On Roblox, I was trying to get the kitsune, I think. Although was the odds of getting one was 0.8% chance. I think you can get rid of chance because the percentage sign is there. However, I kept trying, and in the end, I was able to get the pet. Nice. Awesome. Good stuff. And oh, this is a pet. Okay. I who raise your hand if you play Roblox.
Wait, James, were you talking about Blox Fruits or Grow a Garden? Because I thought the Kitsune is in Blox Fruits.
Um, I play Grow a Garden, but like I also play Box Fruits.
All right, raise your hand if you play Roblox ever. Like or at least once a month. Only one person, Ethan? James, you just said you played Roblox. I guess that was one time. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, I thought it'd be more people. I heard recently that your generation, everybody plays. Okay, Annabelle, would you like to read yours?
This quote is trying to say that you can always follow your dream no matter what you have done in the past or what time it is now. For example, if you have always wanted to be an astronaut but you ended up being a teacher, you can still try to be an astronaut. You can still try pursuing your dream no matter what is standing in your path.
Awesome. Okay. The quote is trying to say you can always follow a dream no matter what you've done in the past or what time it is now. For example, if you always wanted to be an astronaut, but you ended up being a teacher, you can still try to be an astronaut. That is true. You can still try pursuing your dream no matter what's in your path. That is true. Especially stuff like astronaut. Surprisingly, like if you go become an engineer or a doctor or whatever, they always want astronauts coming from different fields. So that is true. Derek. I mean, even Katy Perry is technically an astronaut now. I don't know if you guys knew that, but okay, Derek, would you like to read yours?
The quote by George L. Eli, it tells me that it's never too late to achieve your goals or dreams. For example, let's say you want to learn the violin as an adult. You might tell yourself that you're too old to learn anything new and gave up without even trying. In reality, though, with enough hard work, you can definitely learn how to play the violin.
Awesome. Great stuff. Very clean. Great structure. Good example. This is a very good example because this is a very common situation that adults being like people in their early 20s even have where they think, oh, I can't learn to play an instrument now. It is true that languages, instruments, all those things, sports even, much easier to learn when you're young, but you can very well learn it later in life. Okay, vocab of the day. Uh, who would like to read these? Let's get Russell.
Rebarbative, adjective, unattractive and objectional, repellent. The novel's rebarbative style made it difficult for many readers to enjoy. Apathagm.
This is a tough one. This is apothegm.
Apothegm. Noun, a concise, instructive saying or maxim. Her grandfather was fond of quoting apothegms like waste not, want not. Cavil, verb, to make petty or unnecessary objections. The editor tended to cavil over trivial details instead of focusing on the story's strengths. Peroration, noun, the concluding part of a speech, often intended to inspire enthusiasm. The senator's fiery peroration brought the audience to its feet in applause. Sedulous, adjective, showing dedication and diligence. Through sedulous effort, she mastered the complex material ahead of the exam.
Awesome. Thank you for that. You guys know the drill, or actually maybe Austin, I don't know if you know the drill. You could either do one paragraph or one sentence with all the words, and I give 3 minutes. A lot of the students like to challenge themselves and do one sentence. So that's why I added that option. Okay, starting the timer now. All right. Time is up. Let's see what we came up with. All right, Russell, start us off. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me throw these words in the chat before you go. Okay. Sorry, Russell, go for it.
Bob's books are written in a rebarbative style that are aposem, and Bob's characters cavil in the conclusion of his books compared to how in George's books it ends in a well-written peroration.
And a well-written peroration. And Bob's characters cavil in the conclusion. So the only thing is that are filled with apothegms. Just because apothem means saying, right? Yeah, okay. Do we have any other responses? What? Just one? All right, we have Ethan. All right, Ethan, go for it.
The student showed how sedulous he was on the presentation, but when it was his turn to speak, he was very nervous during the I forgot to put a comma there. During the preoration, he spoke in epithegm. After that, everyone thought he was rebarbative. I'm not sure if I used them right though.
No, that's fine. I just want you to try. And I think you did pretty good. How sedulous he was in the presentation, but when it was his turn to speak, comma, because yes, this is a second clause, or a second like full sentence, but use when. So when it was his turn to speak, so it's a subordinating clause. So then this is the independent clause right here, or not the independent, the forgot the word. Oh man. Anyways, when you start a sentence with things like when or if, etc., you need to have a comma before the main clause, right? So he was very nervous during the presentation, or when his turn to speak, he was very nervous, and during the peroration, he spoke in apothegms. After that, everyone thought he was rebarbative. Peroration. During the peroration, he spoke in apothegms. Okay. Good. Very good. Very good stuff. Okay. Austin, would you like to read yours?
Even though his speech was rebarbative and hard to listen, filled with clever sayings and some complaints, his hard work really showed in the end, and when he delivered a strong conclusion that impressed everyone.
Oh, you could have said apothegms right here. It would have been perfect. Filled with clever sayings, but his hard work really showed in the end when he delivered a strong conclusion that. Oh, yeah, you could have used peroration here. Oh, I think maybe I should have been more clear. With these ones we want to use all the words. So you could actually I actually want you to use all the words. And you had perfect spots for them. So I think maybe you were just trying to use the general definitions there. But besides that, very good. Says, though his speech was regarded and hard to listen to, Bill was clever saying in some lights. His hard work really showed in the end when he delivers. Great, good stuff. Awesome. Okay. And do we have any other responses? No. Okay, we have one more. Okay, we have all of them now. Guys, you can submit. whenever you're done. You don't have to wait. James, would you like to read yours?
Rebarbative Jimmy loved to cavil over Apo, the created through sedulous effort. Jimmy created a perfect peroration.
Read from City's effort, Jimmy made a perfect preparation. I guess this makes sense, but they don't quite connect. Like this sentence doesn't quite connect to the other sentence, but independently they do work and they use all the words there. Okay. Good stuff. Let's get Annabelle. Annabelle, would you like to read yours?
A strict yet lazy teacher will always cavil to the students and use random apothegms about her old life. The teacher even told the student the grammar in their peroration was rebarbative, even though she showed a sedulous effort.
Particularly, teacher would always cavil to the students and use random apothegms about her whole life. The teacher even told the student the grammar in her preparation was rebarbative, even though she said Jules. Ooh, very good response there, Annabelle. Nice. Okay, good stuff, guys. Good stuff all around. Let us move on to we have a little bit of time, so let's do hot takes because it's probably been a while since you guys have done them. Okay, so let's actually drop this time down to 5 minutes. So I say another because if you were in the classes before, everyone has given a few hot takes, but give a hot take of yours and explain why this is your belief. Defend your position to the best of your ability in 5 minutes, presented in a persuasive paragraph. So for Austin, hot take is just a opinion that you have about something that a lot of people disagree with, you think, or you think a lot of people disagree with, right? Like baseball is the most boring major sport in North America today. That is a hot take. That is like, let's say one of my hot takes. Obviously, a lot of people love baseball, so a lot of people will disagree. I love pineapple on pizza. A lot of people don't like pineapple on pizza. Etc. So those are some examples. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes, and I'm going to start the timer now. All right, all right. Time is up. Let's see what we came up with. We have one hot take, Ethan's. All right, two. All right, Ethan, would you like to read yours?
I think dogs are better than cats because they are much more easy to work with and can be aligned with your schedule. So you can work carefree without worrying about your schedule because they don't have a set schedule like cats. Unlike cats.
You worry about your schedule because they do not have a set schedule, unlike cats. Ooh, interesting. I have a cat, my partner's cat, and yeah, you know what? You're right. The cats do have a schedule. It's hard to it's hard to change their schedule. Um, okay. James, would you like to read yours?
Cookies and cream is the best ice cream flavor. It offers a wonderful contrast between the two textures of creamy and crunchy, a satisfying blend. The sweet vanilla and the smushed chocolate cookies create a balanced flavor that is both tasty and complex.
Awesome. Sweet vanilla special creative, tasty and complex. Ooh, tasty and complex. Interesting. Um, interesting. Russell, would you like to read yours?
Google search is shifting into an ad engine, with real answers pushed down by sponsor links, shopping ads, and news that pushes people to buy new products. This means users now have to sift through layers of ads before reaching genuinely useful information, making the experience feel less like discovery and more like navigating a marketplace. By prioritizing whoever pays over what's most relevant, Google is ruining reliability for schools and for everyone.
Interesting. By prioritizing whoever pays over what's most relevant. Ooh, interesting. Um, okay, awesome. Would you like to read yours? Awesome.
The NBA All-Star Game is more entertaining than the Super Bowl. The NBA All-Star Game is exciting because it features the best basketball players showing off their amazing skills in a fast-paced, high-scoring event. Unlike the Super Bowl, which can sometimes be slow and serious, the All-Star Game is all about having fun, with cool dunks and three-point shots that keep fans entertained.
That is a very, very hot take. That is a very, very hot take. And firstly, I'm glad there's a student in this class who appreciates the NBA. That's great. But the All-Star game being more entertaining than the Super Bowl is very, very hot because even basketball fans, a lot of basketball fans don't like the NBA All-Star game. Um, so very, very hot take. Interesting. Okay, so we have a couple more people. Russell gave James, Ethan, Austin. So Derek and Annabelle. Annabelle, do you have a hot take? Did I miss it? No, I did not miss it. Okay, then I guess we can potentially move on. This doesn't really work if not everyone participates, because okay, this is what I will do. We'll you can't think of anything. Okay, that's okay. This is what we'll do. I want everyone to pick a hot take here and argue against it. So with some points against it, okay? We'll just read through it, but we won't really edit it for grammar. But I just want you to try your best to argue against it. So you pick whichever one you want to quote unquote attack. But we're gonna give you, or I'm gonna give you a bit less time to do it. So I'm gonna give 4 minutes to do it, okay? So 4 minute
Can I
timer. Pardon?
can I attack my own?
You want to attack your own? No, you cannot attack your own.
Dang it.
That was a good question, but no, I want you to try exploring something new. Okay, starting the timer now. All right, all right. Time is up. Let's see what we came up with. I gave you guys actually a bit more time because I didn't see enough responses, but now I'm starting to think that you guys are waiting for the time to end to submit.
I'm still writing.
All right. I'm just gonna read through these quickly. Actually, no, we have enough time for you to read them yourselves. Okay, Ethan, read yours.
I don't believe that cookies and cream ice cream is the best flavor. Firstly, it is basically just Oreo flavored ice cream. Plus, the cookie part is just chocolate made into a cookie shape cut up to make the cookie aspect to make the cookie aspect of it. Secondly, the cream part is just generic vanilla ice cream. So it doesn't even taste like the cream in the Oreo cookies. Lastly, there are so much more flavors that give much more of a vibrant and bright flavor to each lick of the ice cream.
All right, so plus the cookie part is just chocolate made into a cookie shape to make the cookie aspect of it. I don't know if this is necessarily true for every cookies and cream ice cream, maybe for some of them. Secondly, the cream part is just generic vanilla ice cream, so it doesn't even taste like the cream. That is true. Lastly, there's some, but I don't necessarily think cookies and cream is necessarily Oreo, so that's also not necessarily a contradicting point. Lastly, there are so many more flavors that give more vibrant and that give a more vibrant, bright vibe to each lick of the ice cream. This is fair. I would definitely include some examples though if you're going to argue that. But some good points here. Some good points. I think if you're talking about Oreo ice cream, this is 100% true. I'm not too sure if it's valid for otherwise, or maybe I'm wrong. I haven't had cookies and cream ice cream in a very, very long time. Okay, Annabelle, would you like to read yours?
Cookies and cream is not the best ice cream flavor there is. Although it is not a bad combination, there are still so many flavors in the world which are better. For example, mint chocolate chip is better and has more different flavors. It also includes chocolate bits inside like the cookies and cream flavor, but instead of just plain vanilla, it has mint ice cream.
That's crazy that you say cookies and cream is not the best, and then you use mint chocolate chip as an example. Now, I like mint chocolate chip, don't get me wrong, but I am very shocked that someone your age says mint is their favorite. Um, okay. Uh, let's go to Russell. Russell, would you like to read yours? Oh, sorry.
Oreo cookies and cream ice cream is tasty but not the best for everyone. It's often too sweet with a simple chocolate and vanilla flavor that lacks complexity. The cookie pieces can get soggy, losing their crunch. Oh, period. Since it's also very common, many find it overhyped compared to fresher or more unique ice cream flavors.
You find it overhyped compared to fresher or more unique ice cream flavors. That's fair. That's fair. I do think these are fair points. Lacks complexity. Valid arguments. Losing their crunch is valid. Overhyped. Valid. Okay, very, very good arguments there. Sorry. Okay, James, would you like to read yours?
Cats are better than dogs because they are low maintenance, have independent nature, and have self-cleaning habits. Cats don't need to be walked like how dogs need to be, making them an ideal choice for some owners. Cats are capable of being left alone for longer periods of time, making them perfect for owners who work a long time. Cats also more quiet environments for owners. Lastly, cats don't require a large amount of space, fitting well in smaller homes.
Nice. Um, all valid points, all valid arguments against the main point. Great stuff. So yeah, this activity is really just to help think of logical arguments against something and also structure your arguments, right? And you guys did a great job here. So good stuff. And now we can move on to my favorite part. The article of the day is my favorite part, but this specific article is, should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote? Britain is lowering its voting age to 16. Is it time for the United States to do the same? Who here would maybe if the voting age was lowered to your current age right now, and there was a vote for the president or prime minister next week, would you vote? Put your hand up if you would. What? Nobody would? Only Russell? What? Okay, Ethan, if there was I'm just picked on someone randomly. Ethan, if there was a vote and you could vote, you wouldn't vote?
Yeah, wouldn't really care much.
You wouldn't care much. Okay, fair enough.
Like, it really wouldn't matter in the long term, because like typically Minnesota is usually just like usually like if a state is either Democratic or Republic, it stays like that for a long time. And if I'm the other like party, I would not vote either way. Because like it's probably also stay the same as like the past few years if it's always been Democratic or if it's always been Republican.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. Okay, but you still okay, so you still wouldn't vote. Even to, skew the stats or anything like that. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Interesting position. Okay. Let's get into it. Russell, can you start us off?
How important is the right to vote for democracy and for you? In 1971, the 26th Amendment lowered the voting age in the United States to 18 from 21. In recent years, campaigns to expand the vote to even younger people have gained momentum. In July, the British government announced its intention to allow 16 and 17 years old to vote in what it called a landmark moment for democracy. Now many are wondering if America should follow suit. In your opinion, is the current minimal legal voting age of 18 fair and appropriate, or should the voting age be lowered? How old do you think people should be to vote in the United States? They are 16 and 17 years old and they want to vote, like now. Jesse McKinley and Callie Holterman write that as Britain lowers its voting age, some American teenagers are wondering when it will be their turn. Like many conservatives, David Sherian says he's worried about inflation, the economy, and the southern border. But he said he's also annoyed that he can't do anything about those issues at the ballot box.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, this person is worried about these things, but he can't vote because he is below 18. In 1971, it was lowered from 21 to 18. Oh, I didn't know that. So it was 21 before that. Okay. Let's get someone next to read this. Austin, can you read this one?
Should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote? I get taxed, Mr. Sean said, but I don't get a voice in my representation. There is, mind you, a reason for that. Mr. Sharian is 17, a rising high school senior who lives outside Portland, Oregon, and works as a host at a Mexican restaurant where he, yes, pays taxes on his income. He's also the chairman of the High School Republican National Federation and a proponent of lowering the voting age. The idea that is gained new attention since the British government announced its intention last month to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote. While such a nationwide change seems unlikely in the United States, where any alteration to the voting age will require a constitutional amendment, More than a dozen cities have opened the door to young voters in some elections, with momentum seemingly growing. In November, voters in Albany, Calif, overwhelmingly passed a measure lowering the voting age to 16 for local and school district elections. 2 months later, lawmakers in New York passed legislation allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in school board elections. College Park, MD, approved younger voting in April. Some states also already allow 17-year-olds to vote in primaries or caucuses if they will turn 18 by the
General election in November. Okay, awesome. Let's keep going. Let's get James. James, can you read this one?
Juan Allen, 29, the director of Vote 16 USA, an advocacy group that seeks to lower the voting age to 16, said the movement drew wide support from those who are already tantalized, lying close to casting their first ballots. It is used up and down this country, no matter what the political party, that are pleading with adults to get things right. Mr. Allen said, because these are the most significantly impacted by the decisions that are made today. Or as one teenager put it, they would probably do it at least as well as their parents did. I don't think that most of the 16, 17-year-olds that I know would be like worse at voting than the adults I know, said Elspeth Hawk, 17, a rising senior in Minneapolis. Like many supporting of lowering the voting age, Miss Hawk believes that switch the feeling of powerlessness that she and her friends feel when they look at national politics. A lot of things feel like they're backsliding right now, she said. Such critiques of the state of the nation and the nation's 174 million registered vote are rampant among this age group, who also note that they are already allowed to take on a range of adultish responsibilities. They can drive, work, and in some cases donate blood. They can apply for emancipated from their parents. They can hold and use a credit card. They can sit in the exit row.
Awesome. So yeah, so it is interesting that yeah, a lot of 16-year-olds, they can join the military, they can apply for passports, do all these sort of things. They can work and pay taxes, but they cannot vote. So that is interesting. I will say that is a fair argument for it. Article continues. Who has not read yet? Annabelle, did you read yet? Annabelle, can you read this one?
In Britain, last month's change was backed by the Labour Party, which described it as an effort to safeguard democracy. Experts there argued that the change would increase turnout but not necessarily sway elections, while finding that 16 and 17 years old were actually more likely to vote than those who got to vote at 18. Conservative Tories, like Republicans in Washington, have largely opposed the idea. If approved by Parliament, Britain would join a small but slowly growing collection of nations around the world that would allow minors to vote, including South American powerhouses like Argentina and Brazil. Still, the idea of younger voters isn't broadly popular in the United States. A poll conducted in March by YouGov found that more than half of Americans will leave the voting age at 18 for federal elections. Nor is every teenager convinced that their peers are ready for the heady responsibility of enfranchisement. Mason Fullerton, a recent high school graduate in Gaithersburg, MD, said he worried that 16 and 17-year-olds could be swayed by misinformation they heard on social media. I think the current legal voting age is fine, he said, adding that teenagers who live with their parents may not yet have the life experience to make wise decisions at the polls. Off on your own as an adult, issues kind of hit you in the face. Mr. Fullerton should know he turned 18 in March.
Awesome. Okay, so off on your own as an adult, teenager. So this person did turn 18, but thinks that the current voter age is fine, which I guess is a little bit. It would maybe mean more from someone who is that age and thinks that they shouldn't be allowed to vote. Maybe. Okay. Let's start with the big, bold question. Should the voting age be lowered to 16? Why or why not? In your view, what age should people be able to vote in the US? I want to give you guys more time for this. 7 minutes. I want in-depth answers. Your stance. I want some points to defend it. I want maybe some examples sprinkled in. And maybe your feelings on it, etc. Right? Because it is in your view. So why do you feel a certain way, maybe, etc. And a conclusion if you can. So I'm going to give you guys a bit more time to do all of that. 7 minutes starting now. All right, gave you guys an extra minute or so. Let's see what we're working with. Okay. Ethan, start us off.
I believe that they should not lower the voting age because 16 years olds are still not interested in politics and can be convinced very easily on the internet. Because at that age, most teenagers are glued to their phones. I believe that the current voting age is fine because by the time you're 18, you will be experienced and will be more serious about politics. Uh, and politics. Ugh, uh, that's supposed to be an and. I was typing too fast
Sorry.
and not support by internet.
Where's your and serious about politics and I'm gonna just change this to less likely to be fooled. Awesome. Okay, so first I believe because your belief hasn't changed, so I still believe that they should not lower the voting age because 16-year-olds are so um so I would actually just say I would not lower the voting age to 16 because 16-year-olds are not, etc. Because I think it's better to specify what the voting age is, that is being proposed and that you are directly opposing, right? Rather than lowering the voting age in general. It's also more clear as to what you're talking about, right? So, still not interested in politics, can be convinced very easily that because at that age most users are glued to their phone. So we shouldn't use because and because twice in a sentence, right? We don't want it inception um of ideas. So because they're not so interested in politics and can be very influenced, very and can be convinced very easily by the internet. I'm gonna actually say to something like to believe in anything. Um and then so I'll just add this as yellow. Because this age teenager go to their phone, so I'm just gonna highlight this. Like that could be a separate point, right? You could first then talk about, then you can break this down into why are they not interested in politics, and then why can they be very easily influenced by the internet. And that could be your body, right? Explaining those 2 points, and that's actually how it should be based on this intro here. So just keep that in mind. I believe the current voting age is fine. Again, because this is a common thing more and more now that people are more into texting, but cause means something different. Like you can cause a problem, but if you're trying to explain something, then it is because. Um, Even though casually during speech we say, oh, I did this because I did that, da, 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 right? But because is the correct word. By the time you are 18, I believe that the current voting age is fine because by the time you're 18, you'll be experienced and will be more serious about politics. So, okay, yes, we could just add an and, but I think that you should make a point and then flesh it out rather than add points together, right? We want to make a point, make another point about it, then another sentence about another point, rather than saying, you know, you will be more experienced and more serious about politics at 18 and less likely to be fooled. Maybe find a way to combine it so we only use one and, or make a list of things and then explain that list in the next sentence, right? We don't want to leave freestanding points. We want to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, Russell, would you like to read yours?
Even though I would like to be able to elect my country's leader, I do believe the current voting age of 18 is appropriate for a few important reasons. Many teenagers haven't yet developed strong and stable political beliefs, and their views are still constantly changing as they learn more about the world. They can also have their opinion easily swayed by social media, where viral content is often, no, often are more appealing doing a full-on factual analysis. Lastly, young people typically lack real-world experience. They might not realize which problems will hit them the hardest. Ultimately, keeping the voting age at 18 ensures that those casting ballots have the experience and stable belief to make informed choices.
Okay, awesome. Now, I don't know if stable beliefs are necessarily a good thing, firstly, because people should be able to grow and have new ideas and things like that. So that's one thing I would say. But that this is good point. So many teenagers have not great, it's constantly changing. They also have where viral content often are. I guess I would say you could say group viral content as one big group and say viral content is often more appealing. Wait, sorry. Viral content often are more appealing doing or is often more appealing maybe than watching a full-on factual analysis. Yes, lots of young people typically lack real experience. They may not realize it. Great, great, great. See, great structure. Make your points, then every point you made, you there's sort of a connection here, right? This one you say they're changing is a little more about the world, and they say ease opinion easily swayed, viral content, and then you explain that point, lack real world experience, etc. Good stuff. Good stuff, Russell. Okay, so let's go to Austin and then Annabelle. Okay, Austin, would you like to read yours?
The voting age shall not be lowered to 16 because many teenagers at that age might not have the life experience and knowledge needed to make informed decisions about complex political issues. While 16-year-olds can have strong opinions, they're still developing their understanding of civic responsibilities and the implications of their choices. In my view, the appropriate voting age in the United States should stay at 18, as this age generally aligns with when individuals are considered adults and can take on responsibilities like driving, working, and serving in the military.
Awesome. Okay, great. In my view, comma. Before Wall Australia. Great. Civic responsibility. Understanding of civic responsibility and implication of their choices. Great points overall. Good stuff. Awesome. Annabelle, would you like to read yours?
I believe that 16 and 17 years old are not ready to take on the responsibility of voting. Because they are still minors, they haven't learned everything yet and won't be able to make a good judgment. Teenagers still live in their parents' homes, so they don't know much information about the government. Their decision could also be too easily swayed by other people, especially social media. The current age limit is good enough already.
Their decision could also be too easily swayed by the especially social media. Great points. Everyone is very, very cognizant of the the hold social media has on young people. So that's good, as young people yourselves. Okay, James, last but not least.
I think that they should lower the age limit because extending the age limit to 16 and 17 years olds can foster early and lasting civic engagement. Young people like 16 and 17-year-olds are most likely still in their home environment, making it easy to navigate the voting process for the first time. Many 16 and 17-year-olds have jobs and pay taxes, yet don't have a voice in the law. Supporters think that those who contribute to the community deserve to have a say in how it's governed. Arguments that go against 16-year-olds to vote often revolve around the fact that they aren't mature enough to be able to vote. However, scientists claim that at the age of 16, people are able to make well-developed choices. Many people think that they should be able to vote at the age of 16, and others disagree.
Great, that's true. Have jobs and pay taxes. Yeah. Great. Supporters think that those extreme. Great. Interesting. Yeah. This is very interesting points. I'm personally, I'm not sure what I believe. I think that I do. This is a very good point, that if you do get people voting early, then you will have less people feeling like they are not part of the system and whatever. Like, they will have a stronger sense of civic responsibility. Um, and usually 16-year-olds, younger people tend to vote more ideologically, like with positivity in mind. They want to help everyone, etc. So maybe that's good. So I'm not too sure myself, but that great stuff, guys. Great points. Very thoughtful points as well. I like to add. Okay. So you know what? Um, I'm gonna change this to this, and that will be the homework for next week. Or sorry, the forum. That is all for today, guys. It's nice seeing you guys again. I will see you all next week. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.